This is a red alert moment. And I don't completely understand why everybody doesn't understand how big this is. Donald Trump told us during the campaign that if he was going to be elected, he was going to use his power to turn the Department of Justice and the FBI into a political witch hunt operation to go after his political opponents. And he's doing it. That's what Kash Patel's qualification is to be FBI director. That he is loyal to Donald Trump, that he believes the FBI should be involved in the business of hunting down the political opposition to Donald Trump.
Senator Chris Murphy is attempting to alert people to the very blatant promises that Kash Patel has made well before his nomination to lead the FBI. And although he points out the political retribution aspect, he also illustrated the effects it could have on their normal responsibilities.
What does that mean for you? Well, first, it means that there's no political dissent or speech in this country that is safe. But second, it means that the FBI is going to get out of the business of actually going after real criminals, of keeping you safe from gun smugglers, from drug traffickers, from corrupt Wall Street executives. And instead, they're going to spend all their time going after people who dare politically oppose Donald Trump, or people who think that we should actually have fair elections in this country. This is an assault on democracy, but it's also an assault on you. Because the FBI isn't protecting you, isn't protecting the rule of law, isn't making sure our streets are safe. If somebody like Kash Patel is the director of the FBI who has made it clear that he thinks the number one priority of law enforcement should be to act as political police.
Now, I know a lot of political analysts are talking about Kash Patel like every day, but it's only because the promises are becoming reality. So at this point, people will either believe what's been directly said by the MAGA figures that have voiced their desires to carry out Trump's revenge for being busted, or they won't. In reality, Patel is better at delivering his agenda than Chris Murphy is.
And the other thing I talk about in my book, and people aren't going to like this, but we got to start impeaching judges. The last check that we have on our Constitution used to be the federal judiciary. And now we've seen them weaponized against Jan 6, against GJT, and against so many other people because they dared to vote for someone they disliked. These people are acting unconstitutionally, and Congress must impeach them when we have both houses of Congress back, hopefully in 2024. That is a drastic measure. And me as a former public defender and prosecutor, I didn't think I'd ever say that because I was like, no, judges are great. They wear the robe, they do the right thing. But now you look at any case that Donald Trump's been charged in, and almost every judge, except one, is handling this thing as if they were not a judge, but they were a political terrorist.
This two-tier system of justice is emblematic of the deep state. And in order to crush it, you have to go after not just the media, but the individuals responsible. And you got to get the judiciary involved. There's too many judges who are going and rubber stamping these actions. And I encourage Congress to start impeaching some of these lifetime appointments.
Now, imagine a Democratic president's FBI pick claiming that any judge that doesn't rubber stamp everything that the president wants should be impeached and removed. This MAGA movement would do something drastic, like attacking the Capitol or something.
This is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. We're not. You cannot have a constitutional republic and allow what these deep staters have done to the country. But do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all-America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you.
They'll go through the courts that he just said he wants purged of anyone that doesn't do the bidding of Trump to secure prosecutions of political enemies and journalists that report on their actions. There's no more energy left for convincing people. This is simply the plan that we're now faced with.
He is the enemy of the Republican Party because he always finds a way to win in state court and federal court on election matters, and he has been doing it like a machine for the last decade. So if you want someone who's that talented and that good, there's only one guy, and I hate to say it, it's Mark Elias. And if we could somehow get him on the team, of course he's never going to come over, but that would be something.
So if you're good at winning in court on election matters, like the ones MAGA hasn't stopped lying about, you're an enemy of the Republican Party, according to Patel, because they know holding on to power regardless of election results is key. And they've already told us what they'd like to do with the enemies within.
I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
With a military that he claims needs to be rebuilt under the guise of it being somehow underfunded and short on morale, when in reality, it's about purging it of its leaders that, again, don't rubber stamp everything MAGA wants and installing people like Pete Hegseth, who don't think they should be held accountable by the people that they claim to serve.
And I'm proud of what I fought for. I'm not going to back down from them one bit. I will answer all of these senators' questions, but this will not be a process tried in the media. I don't answer to anyone in this group, none of you, not to that camera at all. I answer to President Trump, who received 76 million votes on behalf and a mandate for change. I answer to the 100 senators who are part of this process and those in the committee. And I answer to my Lord and Savior and my wife and my family. I'm proud to be here. And as long as Donald Trump wants me in this fight, I'm going to be standing right here in this fight, fighting to bring our Pentagon back to what it needs to be.
We're still just paying attention to what they're saying. No need for warnings from the targets of their promises. So if they are successful, there should be no surprised faces or former supporters wondering how we ended up here with defense secretaries that don't answer to the country that they serve.
To me, Kash Patel, and I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy. I mean, you might think that having Pete Hegseth running the military is a greater level of danger because of his lack of experience, or Tulsi Gabbard at intelligence. But just as far as the threats to democracy that we were warning about before the election, and Kash Patel was a key player inside the Trump White House, pushing for and orchestrating the coup attempt in 2020. He was trying to completely take control of the Justice Department at the time. He was Trump's top lieutenant who was willing to do anything and advance any lie in service of his attempt to overturn that last election, to such a degree that there were many people that were Trump appointees in 2020 who were staying around and saying no, like standing in the breach and saying, no, not Kash Patel. Like, you cannot put Kash Patel as a temporary leader of the Justice Department, et cetera. These are Trump appointees.